Salutations! A little while ago, Sketch from 343 conducted an Ask Me Anything on Reddit regarding the Master Chief Collection coming to PC. One of the questions I was asked related to whether or not Halo Custom Edition content would make its way to the PC version, and Sketch replied with the following statement: "We are always investigating ways to bring the wealth of Halo user-created content to a larger audience for everyone to enjoy. Halo Custom Edition content is definitely on our list and is actively being explored. While this isn't a 100% confirmation that Custom Edition maps will be coming to the MCC, it seems likely that it may happen down the road given the answer Sketch gave to that question. Longtime fans of this channel are well aware of what Halo Custom Edition is, but for those who aren't in the know, Halo Custom Edition is an expansion of the original PC port of Halo Combat Evolved that allows users to create and play on custom maps. For this video, we're going to be looking at a hypothetical scenario where Custom Edition is confirmed to be coming to the Master Chief Collection. This would mean that the MCC version of Halo Combat Evolved would be receiving a whole suite of new multiplayer content, which I believe will help the game immensely. In my opinion, Halo 1 has the least amount of viable matchmaking maps when compared to the rest of the MCC. Some of the smaller maps are just completely unviable for competitive play, or just not even that fun to experience casually unless for action sack. One example is Wizard, which doesn't feature any spawn points on the second floor platforms, while also housing way too many power-ups. If a team controls the top part of the map, calling the team on the bottom floor's efforts an uphill battle is an understatement. At least Derelict, a similarly designed map, has spawn points on the second floor and only has one of each power-up. Chiron Teal 34 is essentially designed for silly action sack game modes thanks to it consisting of nothing but teleporters, making gameplay move at a snail's pace. Make no mistake though, I unironically love playing on this map casually with a bunch of friends in a custom game, but it's a horrible level for competitive or even social play. Longest is too much of a hellhole due to its tight corridors not leaving much room to avoid grenades, which forces matches on this map to devolve into a never-ending grenade spam fest. Boarding action is similar to Chiron Teal 34 in that it only really works for silly custom games, such as all snipers or all rockets. Moving on to the big team battlefront, the situation is even worse, with quite a few of the once PC exclusive maps not being very good in a matchmaking setting. Infinity is way too large, end of story. Death Island is also obscenely large, but it has an issue on the top part of the map where it's very easy to camp around the teleporter receiver nodes. Danger Canyon is one of the most unbalanced combinations of weapon and power-up spawns in just about any Halo map, with a sniper rifle and overshield spawning together on this platform. With a sniper spawning every 30 seconds and the overshield spawning every minute, it's extremely easy to control this part of the map. Even Timberland, a map I previously thought wasn't too bad, has a similarly overpowered sniper spot that supplies a player with active camo, a health pack, and more sniper ammo. So what does that leave us with both small and BTB matchmaking maps? For 2v2 and 4v4 play, there's Damnation, Chill Out, Battle Creek, Hang 'em High, Derelict, Prisoner, and Rat Race, with Rat Race having a split opinion on its competitive viability in the community. That's 7 small maps. As for the BTB maps, we're left with the classic Blood Gulch, Sidewinder, Ice Fields, and Jafarophobia. That makes 4 BTB maps. That number is so low that Hang 'em High and Boarding Action are currently being used to supplement the BTB map roster for CE. This brings us with a total of 11 viable Halo 1 matchmaking maps, or 12 if you count Boarding Action as a BTB map. That's not a whole lot at all. And it's not uncommon for players to quit early on some of these maps because the match is either taking way too long to complete, or one team is slaughtering the other due to unbalanced features in the map. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the custom edition maps that I feel will work best in a matchmaking setting. These will include smaller maps that work for competitive and social 2v2 and 4v4 sessions, and larger maps for big team battle. For the maps I'm going to be including in this video, they have to have the following prerequisites. 1. They need to have originally been designed for the classic weapon and vehicle tag sets in mind. So for those who loved maps with a heavy emphasis on custom tags, such as Cold Snap, Huge Ass, or Extinction, you're out of luck, although it would be nice to see these kind of maps make it to MCC anyway. Keep in mind that a couple of the maps that will be featured in this video provided some modifications to the OG weapons, so the natural thing to do here is to restore the modified weapons back to their original settings. These maps also need to have an art style reminiscent of existing Halo 1 maps, so a Star Wars themed level for example is out of the question. Map layouts need to be easily understandable for first time players while also not featuring areas that are deemed too overpowered, like Danger Canyon's sniper and overshield spawn. As much as I love Yo-Yo Rust Island for example, it won't make this list either as its layout is way too complex with a plethora of tunnels, ramps, catwalks, etc. For the BTB maps, they need to include vehicles while also offering a map layout that's fair for players on foot. Naturally, these maps can't be too large just like Infinity. With all that said, let's begin. To start this all off, we'll look at my list of smaller maps designed for 2v2, 4v4, or free-for-all play. But this section will be split up into two sections: maps originally designed for Halo Custom Edition, and maps designed for Neutral Host Edition, a mod for the original Xbox version of Halo Combat Evolved centered around the competitive community of this game, although Custom Edition versions of these maps do exist. We'll begin with 3 maps that were once exclusive to Custom Edition alone. First off, we have the fan favorite Delta Ruins by Artine. But before I continue, I'd like to mention that I'll be using the updated Delta Ruined variant of this map as it features better visuals overall, but I feel the name Delta Ruins flows better, so I'll be using that name throughout this portion of the video. Delta Ruins is a map based off the Halo 2 missions Delta Halo and Regret, as well as acting as a sister map to Halo 2's Sanctuary. While I did mention that one of the prerequisites for the maps to make it onto this list was to have a CES aesthetic, I can imagine Installation 05's ruined temples looking something like this if the map originally released with Combat Evolved. This map is known for its great combination of long range and close quarters combat, and has a rotating power-up spawn that forces players to shoot it down with their weapons. Slayer is probably the best game type to play on this kind of map, but Capture the Flag, Oddball, and King of the Hill work just fine on here too. Next is another Custom Edition classic, Fissure Fall by Crispy. Fissure Fall is unique for its precarious layout that hangs over a massive abyss, and players need to watch their step as they fight on top of the narrow bridges that connect the two bases. There are quite a few ways to traverse the map. Players can simply walk across the central bridges to get to the other side in the quickest fashion, but that'll leave them exposed. There are also passageways on each of the 2 cliff sides that provide more cover, but the route is longer. The bases offer multiple entrances for attacking players. The active camo spawn is behind the waterfall, but the overshield is located in a rather interesting spot as it forces players to knock it down with a plasma grenade. This may be possible with a frag, but you'll need to be dead on. Since this map features an extremely large abyss, I would not recommend playing this map with Oddball, but Slayer, Capture the Flag, and even King of the Hill are fair game. Lastly, I like to talk about Cenotaph by Dontu. This was released relatively recently in 2016, and I personally enjoy every aspect of this map. The visuals of Cenotaph scream Combat Evolved to me, and the layout is just the right size for fast-paced 4v4 games that can also work for 2v2. I particularly like what Dontu did with the rocket launcher spawn. Not only is it precariously placed in the middle of the map, it's also housed on this platform that shows off neat lighting effects. The map features a series of short-range teleporters that take players from the front of their base to the central part of the map, and vice versa. This gives flag runners a decent option in confusing the enemy team. Each side of the map also includes a sniper rifle, which results in frenetic sniper duels. Each base also features 2 ways inside, the main entrance on top, and 2 entrances on the bottom. Slayer, Capture the Flag, Oddball, and King of the Hill work really well here, with Capture the Flag being the best for this kind of map. These next levels were designed for an original Xbox mod called Halo 1.5 and would then be included in Neutral Host Edition, or NHE for short. To briefly describe what NHE is, the purpose of this mod is to have a system in place that has a hosting Xbox act as a dedicated server for 2 other Xboxes that compete against each other. The Xbox acting as a server has its players spawn outside the map boundaries and sits out, while the players for the other 2 consoles have their match. This mod is meant to be ran on a program called XLAN thanks to a ping balancing feature that it comes with. All of this means that none of the players in the match will have any host advantages, and everyone is on an even playing field. These custom maps that are featured in NHE were primarily built for the competitive 2v2 Team Slayer metagame, but they're also versatile enough to be played with casual settings and other game types besides Slayer, depending on the map. I have chosen 4 of these maps for this video. The first NHE map I'd like to discuss is Calamity by Hirsute. Sorry if I butchered your name. This map seamlessly blends close quarters, mid-range, and long-distance combat thanks to its brilliant layout. Calamity offers a great balance of verticality and straightforward pathways that give players plenty of unique combat scenarios, with one part of the map taking place in the vacuum of space. I also really appreciate the visuals of this map. Covenant-style CE maps are among my favorites to play on just because of how pretty they are in the Halo 1 engine. and it especially houses my favorite Halo 1 sound of all time. This map is best suited for 2v2 gameplay, with Slayer as the primary game type of choice. However, I could see King of the Hill and Capture the Flag working here as well. Overflow by Hasuku and Il Duce Primo is another Covenant style map but with a unique visual twist. It combines the kind of visuals you'd see in Damnation and Chill Out, and sprinkles in a bit of 343 Guilty Spark, with the outside portion of the map taking place in a swamp. Layout wise, the level is pretty simple as well as being quite small, but there's still plenty of different ways to traverse the map to prevent it from feeling too one-dimensional. And its smaller size allows 2v2 gameplay to consistently be entertaining and full of action. Given Overflow's map size, Slayer is honestly the best way to experience this map. King of the Hill would also be pretty frenetic given the map size. Our next NHE map is Outbound by DDS. Visually, this map is the love child of Battle Creek and Hang 'em High, and it sort of plays like a combination of both maps. There are a number of bridges set in the middle of the map, with one of them acting as an extremely risky spawn location for the rocket launcher. The active camo is located in the center of the map in a similar manner as the one seen in Battle Creek, only this time it's under a waterfall instead of a cave. Just like the camo on Battle Creek, this is a highly contested part of the map. This map also features 2 sniper rifles, and they're positioned in a way that can set up a sniper duel just like in Cenotaph. Once again, Slayer is the best game type to be used for this map, and I don't recommend playing this with CTF because of how fast a flag run can be when using the teleporters. The last NHE map is Exhibit by the late Ponytar. May he rest in peace. It's a map very similar to Chill Out where the combat is room to room and the active camouflage spawns every 2 minutes instead of 1 like on most maps. This is honestly one of my personal favorite NHE maps next to Calamity. Like Calamity, it features both close quarter and long range combat thanks to the large main room offering a lot of space to walk around. One of my personal favorite visual aspects to the map is the inclusion of a large clock in the main room, and it will tell the exact amount of time that the match has gone for. I do have a couple of honorable mentions for the NHE maps, and these would have made it onto the list had it not been for various copyright issues that may or may not have been an issue for 343 to include them in the first place. 2 of these maps are remakes from the Quake series. The first one is the Aerowalk remake, Downrush by Ponytar, Sick, and DDS. Many people who are familiar with Halo 1.5 or NHE are aware of this map given its popularity, and the appreciation is not misplaced. It's a very fun map to play on, and it would have been my first choice had it not been a Quake remake. The other is a Blood Run remake called Atlas by Stuntman. Aesthetically, this is one of my personal favorite NHE maps for its references to the Silent Cartographer, and the gameplay on this map is fun for its steep verticality, precarious active camo placement, and the overwhelming power of the rocket launcher on a map like this. The last honorable mention is 0 Hour by Ponytar. It's not necessarily a map remake, but there's quite a few Easter eggs on this map such as this MLG sign in the middle of the map that could spawn copyright issues for its inclusion. 0 Hour is one of the few new NHE maps that can actually work with 4v4s. This map is also great for Capture the Flag, as it plays like many of the competitive Foundry variants seen in Halo 3, which would please Halo 3 fans. I know there are quite a few NHE maps that I didn't mention, and if it were up to me, I'd have included all of them on the list because each of them offers something unique to the CE metagame while also being extremely fun to play on. But given that there are over 15 of these maps, we'd be here all day if I talked about all of them, so I picked out some of my personal favorites. Halo Combat Evolved's Big Team Battle offering is a mixed bag. On one hand, there are classics like Blood Gulch and Sidewinder that not only resonate with Halo 1 fans, but are so popular even gamers outside of the Halo fanbase know and respect these maps. On the other hand, the Gearbox maps leave much to be desired. They're either way too large, too punishing for players on foot, offer extremely unfair and broken power positions, or a mix of the 3. With that said, I'd like to talk about 4 multiplayer maps from Halo Custom Edition that I believe would work well in the MCC's matchmaking environment. All 4 of these maps are chosen for how they play and capture the flag, which I feel should be the primary mode of play for CEBTB over other game modes since they tend to randomize the initial spawns. While this first entry sounds biased, I'm going to start with my personal favorite Custom Edition map of all time, Portent by EJ Burke. I love this map to death. Its visuals are stunning, with one of the most gorgeous skyboxes I've ever seen in Custom Edition. It's also a night themed map which you don't really see too often in Halo maps, but it's not too dark to the point where players are completely invisible. Most importantly though is how this map plays for Capture the Flag. Portent not only has large open space for vehicles to drive around, but the central part of the map also features interiors designed for close to mid-range infantry combat. There are multiple ways for players to enter the main bases. You can simply walk up to the front of the entrance, but it's a risky maneuver that's bound to have players defending it. Another way is through the use of teleporters. At the front entrance, there's a two-way teleporter that sends players to and from the central part of the map near the river. Inside the central facility, there's another set of teleporters on the second floor that directly sends the player to the back of each respective base, and stealthy players can snatch the flag right under the defending team's noses. The next level is another Custom Edition classic, Snow-Torn Grove by Artine. Many veterans of Custom Edition remember Snow-Torn Grove for the CMT version, which featured a bunch of custom weapons and vehicles. However, a classic version of this map exists, so we'll be using that for this video. Snow-Torn Grove shares quite a few parallels with ice fields in both visuals and various aspects to the layout, but I feel that out of the two maps, this one is superior. It's also not as large, which is always a plus. Like Portent, Snow-Torn Grove's bases offer multiple entrances. There's the obligatory front entrance, a teleporter located outside of the base that sends the players to the second floor where the sniper spawns, and finally a cave next to the base that leads to the top of the building, where the player can drop down to the aforementioned sniper spawn. Inside the building itself, players can simply walk up to the flag from the front of the base, but there's also two holes in the ceiling directly above the flag where players can drop into. As for the rest of the map, the second teleporter located outside of each base ports players to the middle of the map, where much of the conflict will be taking place. The map is spacious enough for vehicles to be a viable way to traverse the map, but throughout the majority of the level, there's bridges and narrow caves that give Spartans a fair chance to get from one end of the map to the other when no vehicles are available. Overall, Snow-Torn Grove is a very solid map that is well thought out in terms of both layout and base design. Moving on, our third BTB map is Dream Trap by R93 Sniper. This level is unique in that it's a BTB map that primarily focuses on infantry combat, but still has room for warthogs. It's also unique for being one of the only BTB maps that I know of that takes place indoors. Dream Trap is known for its excellent combination of close quarters combat within tight corridors and longer range combat thanks to the central part of the map featuring long sight lines both in the direct middle area and within the long hallways on the second floor. There are three ways to enter the bases on this map. You can simply drive your Warthog to the flag and speed off with it, enter the base through the front entrance located in the middle of the map, or go down the long interior hallways located on the second floor of the central area. Our last map for this video comes with a peculiar twist. Welcome to Snow Trap by Inferno and CLS Grunt. This map should be familiar with just about any Halo fan, as this is a remake of Halo 3's Sand Trap. We're essentially dealing with what I call a reverse remake, a multiplayer map designed for a Halo game later in the series, but it ends up being remade for an older Halo game. I felt this was an interesting and unorthodox choice on my part to spice things up a little bit. I chose this map because not only is it gorgeous with an incredible skybox, but it's a play space that the vast majority of Halo fans are accustomed to already, and I feel that players who aren't as well versed in Halo CE would feel comfortable playing on a map like this. I didn't just pick this map for the sake of Halo 3 nostalgia, however. Snow Trap adds a few new features to this map to help differentiate itself more from the Halo 3 counterpart. For example, there's an ice sheet near one of the bases that causes the vehicles to slide, much like on Sidewinder. And the grad lifts have been replaced with teleporters since Halo 1 doesn't handle the concept of grad lifts very well. I also like how the crashed Phantom near Banshee spawn has been replaced with a crashed Spirit instead, which helps boost the Halo CE theming to this map. Other than that, it's basically Sand Trap. You know how this map plays, and it's just the right size for the kind of maps that I'm looking for this list. And with that, we reach the end of the video. These were the custom edition maps that I feel would work wonders in the MCC's matchmaking playlists. If you agree or disagree with my map choices, or have map suggestions of your own that you'd like to pitch in, leave a comment about it and let's get a discussion going. If, and only if, you enjoyed this video, hit the like button as it helps my channel greatly, and subscribe for more Halo content on this channel. Make sure to hit the bell icon to be notified when I upload a new video, and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and join my Discord server as well. I also have a Patreon page where you can voluntarily donate to help support the channel, and I'd like to thank the following patrons: Storm from Storm and Blackbird, Babu Escobar, and Sunny Boy. This is the Vengeful Vadam, and I'll see you on the great journey.